This Candace Owens update is honestly just sickening. It just goes to show how conspiracy can turn so many people into psychotic, pipe dwellers. What comes to mind, like I've said before, is I have always found myself in conspiracies. It's just how I've been since I was very young. And I did used to be the same way, where in the sense I would find myself talking about conspiracies in places where nobody gave a shit, looked at me like I was crazy, and it honestly didn't matter. It was just rooted in my head. Nobody else got it, right? Now that I'm older, I understand the reason that God gave me the ability to see these conspiracies is so that I could safely dive through these rabbit holes and maybe even show others how to do it safely, because what's happening right now is like a crisis. I mean, how is it that Erica Kirk cannot go to a college campus because there are multiple people watching her, stalking her? And what did Candace say? We have eyes everywhere? That is terrifying. That is disgusting. And we have seen many content creators send their fans to attack people and to hush people or to threaten people. And this is the scariest case that I have ever seen. The only thing that I can think of that was this bad until now was Miranda, right? What was her name? What is her name? Miranda Sings girl? COLLEEN Ballinger. That was terrible. And no one is talking about this because it's in the political section of entertainment right now. And the truth is, it's still a YouTube influencer who is causing harm to an actual living person by sending their fans to go and harass, bully, and threaten a living, breathing woman. Not only just a woman, but a widow of 7 months whose husband was just assassinated in front of the entire world.
Candace Owens' cronies threatened Erica Kirk yesterday, forcing her to cancel her speech with JD Vance. We're going to break all of that down, along with new proof that Candace is inciting violence against Erica and stalking her. So Candace Owens is spying on Erica Kirk, and as we'll talk about, it is having serious consequences. Candace admitted to surveilling Erica and her every move a few times on her show recently. Here's a compilation from Nathan Livingstone proving she is a stalker now.
But the problem I'm having is I have now confirmed with people that live where they live, because they live in a building, that they all saw Charlie. They also saw Charlie on a walk. I have one person who lives there. She ran into Charlie, or has seen that. Nobody in her building and they all know each other. It's a building. They know Mikey McCoy. People have said, I've seen Mikey McCoy on this date, blah, blah, blah. No one can confirm that they saw Erica on this date. WTF, Stacey Sheridan lives in the same complex as Charlie and Erica. That is super weird. More and more, it seems like they were all working to smother Charlie and make sure he was closely watched and handled.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
Yeah, she does. And I find it to be very weird and very creepy. Mikey McCoy, I don't know if he has a place in there, him and Elizabeth, but they are there all the time because I have sources that live in the building, obviously. Again, APB. Stacey Sheridan on that day. I know I have contacts that are live in that same building. If you guys remember seeing Stacey Sheridan, that would be great. Still can't get an Erica sighting because we're everywhere and we're watching and we're listening.
I put a link in the description down below to check out Nathan. He does fantastic work. This rhetoric and Candace's actions will come up in the lawsuits about to come down on her. I talked about one of them in the show yesterday. You can go check that out. But there are others that I can't talk about that I'm aware of, and I can't talk about them because it could ruin their arguments that they're trying to do. There's a discovery process that's going to come out, and there are certain rules in that, and I don't want to jeopardize that. But I can say I know of at least 3 lawsuits that will be coming to Candace, and part of it comes down to this surveillance and spying that she's doing. Candace is Big Brother. She is trying to turn neighbors on people, not just to Erica Kirk, but people I know personally. She has commissioned her cronies to dox Erica and have people around her perform surveillance, which is scary stuff. Not only is that illegal, it is psychotic. And unfortunately, it has had consequences. Yesterday at an event in Georgia, Erica Kirk was supposed to speak with JD Vance, but could not because of several death threats that she got. She released a statement.
Now, before he gets into Erica Kirk's statement, I just want to bring up the fact that COLLEEN Ballinger did the same thing to many people, right? She had certain fans treated differently and skewed from the group, which wasn't as big because they weren't as big as Turning Point. But for Candace Owens to do this and go after her this way, using her fans, and it's actually working way worse than anything we've ever seen. The death threats are obviously serious. She had to skip out, right? But why is this not being called out by anyone? Just because it's in a political space. This is an influencer using her fans to watch and stalk and harass. How is this okay? I don't understand how I'm the only one who is seeing this right now. Like, she is worse than COLLEEN Ballinger.
What she said, I was so looking forward to tonight's event at the University of Georgia with our Vice President, JD Vance, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all. Obviously, Erica Kirk's top priority is to her kids. She does not want to orphan them. And that sounds so horrible to say, but that's probably the top thing on her mind since her husband, again, was murdered 7 months ago only.
And that actually brings up a really good point, too. These are grown adults, and Candace Owens has been able to do this to adults. Like, Colleen Ballinger was manipulating children, and Candace Owens is manipulating adults. Yes, a lot of them are young adults, but there are a big group, a big age group. It's a very huge space. There's older people there. There's younger people there. There's people from all around the world watching her. And it is dangerous. And nobody is speaking about this. This is an influencer. This isn't just some political journalist. She's on YouTube making up conspiracies and talking in front of a camera. I would not call her a journalist, okay? I'll give her the grace of calling her a podcaster, okay? But it's not sensical. She's not doing anything good for the world, obviously. She's creating chaos, even in her own fandom, right? This is terrifying.
JD Vance and Andrew Colvett reacted at the event to these threats. Here is what they said.
Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country.
Mary Margaret Olahan, who is the Daily Wire White House correspondent, had more details to share on X about some of these threats. She said, regarding the threats to Erica Kirk that prevented her from attending today's event with Vice President Vance, a TPUSA official tells me that their security had been monitoring the situation in the days leading up to today's event. People were doxing her travel location and trying to track her arrival and departure, I'm told, and there were multiple direct threats against Erica specifically. This ultimately led to her security's assessment that they couldn't guarantee her safety. Quote, the event venue itself was fine, especially once VP was on site, but it was the travel portion that was a chief concern, the official tells the real Daily Wire. Quote, her children are one parent away from being orphans, and so we take security's assessments and advice seriously. Horrible. Again, her travel has been docked. So basically, JD Vance could go because there were no threats against him, but there were against Erica in transit, and those doxes were successful. There are people who knew where she was. Candace's words do have consequences. She is returning to her doxing days back in 2016. I talk about it in my series. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
I'll make sure to link his videos down below, but I just want people to hear this and see this from this angle because this is the only place where it differs from Colleen Ballinger. This is becoming a real-life threat on somebody's life, okay? And this person wasn't even a content creator. They took over the channel for their partner, if you really think about this outside of the political aspect, right? It's a woman who took over her husband's channel because he was assassinated. Even if you take that out of it, no other creator should be sending their fans to do these things. This is evil. And it has deeply rooted itself in her community.
Doing it again. She's always been this way. She has cared about doxing people for decades at this point. And so it's no surprise she is doing it against her political opponents right now. She's done it with people I personally know here in Utah. And Erica, of course, is her most impacted victim. Just to show you how real Candace is being with this, here she is talking about stabbing people like Erica Kirk.
AmFest is when we realize that something very disturbing is happening in America.
Now we are watching her actively dehumanize her enemies. She is causing her fans to look at this other, I'm going to keep looking at it as a content creator aspect. So she's looking at this content creator's wife and all the people who work with him and saying they're not human. They're clones. They are not human. You are taking that away. And it's even worse than what they did to MAGA, because for MAGA, they called them Nazis and fascists. She's straight up saying they aren't human. They are androids. And that is insane. That is insanity. This is getting out of control.
Very disturbing is happening in America. I think that we are fighting machines. I think that these people are not humans, that they're sentinels that maybe look like humans. They don't know how to behave like humans. Are you just surrounded by robots? Are you a hybrid, Erica? Answer yes or no.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know?
I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know?
And all Colleen Ballinger did was send a pair of her underwear to a fan, which is still disgusting and evil. And I want to make a video about her too, and I just never got to it because I jumped into politics. But this, I can't believe no one's talking about it just because it is politics. I watch a lot of drama channels that watch content creators, and this is terrifying to me because it's politics and most drama channels are leftists. They are ignoring these facts and probably standing against Erica Kirk as well. Do you guys think so? Do you agree with me there? Like, it's like Erica Kirk is against the right and the left, and it's such a sad thing to see a woman crucified, like, for literally nothing, not even the sins of her husband, for brain rot sent by this woman. She should get charged, and I hope she does face some kind of actual justice for once in judgment, because she has gotten away with way too much. Way too much.
Disgusting behavior, obviously. And like the true narcissist she is, Candace has come out and mocked Erica for the death threats now. Not only has she incited them, she mocks them when Erica takes them seriously. She said 3 things. She said this first one. Erica Kirk pulled out of her event last minute with Vice President Vance citing threats. This is PR horse crap, obviously. He's now doing the event alone at the University of Georgia. What do we think is the real reason she pulled out? She continued, stop. This is exhausting. You pulled out because of bad ticket sales. For the same reason, TP Faith had to reschedule the Pastor Summit and various other events quietly. People don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth. The irony is insane. It's hard for me to even read her words, but I'm going to keep going for those of you listening because you can't see. She says, people don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth about even the most basic facts. Where is the video of Charlie appointing you as CEO weeks before his death? The Secret Service sits above your security team. Were they actually a viable threat? The vice president would not have continued the event. Your closest threat is the bleep public relations team you hired that continues to operate under the delusion that they're smarter than the public. They aren't. And she said this final thing. Please spare us the paid influencer campaign to convince us that Erica's life was at risk from empty seats. Just this one time. Please, oh, please spare us. Turning point.
Now, I just got to say this. Colleen Ballinger did it in Discord. Colleen Ballinger did it on text message groups, right? Candace Owens is doing this in public on X, and she's getting away with it because so many people have turned to Erica Kirk to hate her and to take their disdain for Israel, their disdain for Jews, their disdain for the right, their disdain for the left, and they've put it all on her. This is wrong in so many ways. This is just so wrong.
USA. The huge irony of all of this is that Candace wanted everyone, just a few months ago, to take very seriously this threat on her life from the Macrons. She came out and said that French intelligence was moving in on her and that they were going to assassinate her. Unlike Erica, she had no evidence for that whatsoever, but she was outraged when nobody cared. She came out, we all mocked her for it. It was ridiculous at the time. Nothing happened. There was no evidence for it. And she was very outraged. And now she's telling Erica to stop wussing out and put herself in harm's way right after her husband was assassinated on camera in public at an event like this one. Tell me, Candace Owens fans, because I know you watch this show. I see you in the comments. How in the world do you think this is normal behavior for Candace? Now tell me, honestly. I'll interact with you in the comments. How is this normal from someone? How do you justify this one? Candace Owens said that Ben Shapiro was threatening her when he posted a joke about Egyptian planes just a few months ago. We covered that as well. She said that Ben was going to try to take her out, that there was some veiled threat within a video that they had made to mock her, and that the Daily Wire was going to try to assassinate her. That is something that she said. But when Erica Kirk gets real death threats, she's just doing it for attention, according to Candace Owens. Freudian slip. I really think she's projecting there. I really do. Seth Dillon described this situation, I think, the best of everyone. And he's fantastic, but really, even better this time. He said, the primary threat to Charlie was well known. He needed security because leftist lunatics often resort to violence. Tyler Robinson proved the point. The primary threat to Charlie's widow comes from a very different place, one that Charlie himself never would have imagined. And that's a really depressing reality of where we are right now.
This clip is Devin Gibson's video. It's all coming out now, and he has a lot of good clips, so I will also put his link in the description below.
I can't take this no more.
So, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't really believe Candace Owens, but there's something deeper than what we're understanding here. Candace Owens has lost her ever-loving mind. If something did happen to Erica Kirk, I would 100% blame Candace Owens.
Since Candace Owens refuses to seek psychological evaluation for her very weird, kind of scary obsession with Erica Kirk and Turning Point, let's expel some of the latest rumors about the UGA event that I was actually at. Candace, of course, was not. First and foremost, there's some missing context here. Candace is trying to frame this as Turning Point could not sell enough tickets. Turning Point wasn't selling tickets. This was a completely free event, and where else would an organization be giving out connections to the Vice President of the United States entirely for free because they care about the youth being involved in politics? I just think that Candace trying to detract from that is disgusting to begin with. Moving on from there, another thing that of course Candace did not include or know about is that not the entire arena was available for the public to sit in. There were only specific areas that were being handed out, and that was done for security purposes as this event was heavily threatened. There were protesters all over, including one who was able to get inside. There was also one who was able to get inside back in DC, and I could tell you as somebody who was also at that one, the pure look of horror on Erica's face when a random man stood up and started screaming belligerently. Nobody knew who this man was. Nobody knew what he was doing. Nobody knew if he was dangerous. It was absolutely terrible, and that happened again at UGA, so this was a major problem. So when you are seeing photos of parts of an empty arena, that was done on purpose in order to have crowd control. In fact, I personally know people that had wanted to attend the event that got told no because it was already too full for the areas we were allowed to be sitting in. Of course, Candace doesn't know that, or maybe she does, and she's still lying to try to distort it. The next part of this is people going after Erica for saying that she was too afraid to show up because she was being so heavily threatened. I want people to understand how severe of PTSD this woman has. She watched her husband publicly get executed, so no, it's not going to be the same feelings for her versus somebody like JD Vance. And I also think that it's very funny and hypocritical of Candace Owens to be saying this. When asked why she didn't go to Charlie Kirk's memorial, she said that she was fearful for her life. Trump was there, JD Vance was there, Trump's entire administration was there, but Candace was too afraid to go. But now when Erica says she's too scared to show up somewhere, now that's a problem. Yeah, okay, I'm glad to see you keeping the same standard. This is an absolutely disgusting thing for Candace to be doing, but I'm honestly not surprised. I've seen her lie firsthand about some of my best friends. I've seen her lie about situations that my friends were in, for example, the Hamptons house. Of course, she never recounted her statements after everyone there proved that she was lying about it. Anybody who takes her seriously at this point, let me just remind you, she's shown no evidence for anything. All she does is lie, and all she does is project her own feelings of Charlie onto the rest of the world, and it's a really disgusting thing to do, trying to tear down his legacy.
Now, this last clip that I want us to take a look at is from Tel Oran, the traveling clat. He's actually in Israel. He gives updates on the Iran war and everything that's going on in Israel. He does a lot of debunking on the lies about Israel and the IDF. So that's how I found his channel, because I actually wanted to do actual research on Israel instead of just calling them, you know, our enemies and the evil of the world. Because I also understand that no one group of humans is just a bunch of demons. It's actually all humans. We can all be tainted. It's not just one group of us that can be tainted. It's all of us. And yeah, stop blaming the Jews for everyone if you're one of those people, because that's just bonkers. Okay, now let's listen to what Ben Shapiro had to say. And this is an update on debunking what Candace Owens said about Erica Kirk. And honestly, getting down to the fact that the only reason she's getting all these death threats is Candace Owens. It has given both the left, the extreme left and the extreme right, the ability to blame everything on one woman, including the Epstein files, including Israel, including now Egypt and Trump. If you hate Trump, you could blame Erica. There's so many things that people are blaming her for, even for Kirk's death, right? It's insane. So she's being crucified for everyone's anger right now, and it's just evil. Evil, evil, evil. If you guys cannot see that, I hope this video helps you see it, because it is very clear that this is toxic. Not in any form would God move a group of people to do this. This is toxic. This is demonic. This is an infestation.
Take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all. Okay, so Mary Margaret reported via Daily Wire, quote, regarding the threats to Erica Kirk that prevented her from attending today's event with Vice President Vance, a TPUSA official tells me that their security had been monitoring the situation in the days leading up to today's event. People were doxing her travel location and trying to track her arrival and departure, I'm told. And there were multiple direct threats against Erica specifically. This ultimately led to her security's assessment they couldn't guarantee her safety. Apparently, one of the officials said the event venue itself was fine, which is why the VP was there. But it was the travel portion that was of chief concern. Her children are one parent away from being orphaned, so he takes security's assessments and advice seriously. Okay, now, let's be very clear. Who do you think is monitoring Erica's travel? Who do you think is doing that? Do we have any clues? Do we have any clues? Well, I mean, Candace Owens has been saying that her followers are supposed to follow Erica and give tabs on it. I wonder, where could this have come from? Here was Candace, not all that long ago.
It seems like they were all working to smother Charlie and make sure he was closely watched and handled. Yeah, she does. And I find it to be very weird and very creepy. Mikey McCoy, I don't know if he has a place in there, him and Elizabeth, but they are there all the time because I have sources that live in the building, obviously. Again, APB Stacey Sheridan on that day. I know I have contacts that are live in that same building. If you guys remember seeing Stacey Sheridan, that would be great. Still can't get an Erica sighting because we're everywhere and we're watching and we're listening.
What a fucking creep, man.
Okay, then of course, Candace came out and immediately claimed that actually there were no security threats. Quote, this is PR horse bleep, obviously. What do we think is the real reason she pulled out? Hey, so J.D. Vance correctly points out on the stage last night with Andrew Colvin at TPUSA that the people who are saying that Erica wasn't grieving are full of it. Here was the vice president.
The people who tell you, I was there with her, I was holding her hand, my wife was hugging her while we loaded Charlie's body onto Air Force Two and said the Lord's Prayer, the people telling you that Erica wasn't grieving her husband are full of shit. And we need to be honest about that fact.
Now, of course, as we know, because I've pointed it out and it's obvious, Megyn Kelly has refused to condemn Candace Owens on this topic in any way, shape, or form. Now, Megyn, of course, will lie and claim that my criticism of her on this matter has something to do with Israel, but you should go back and listen to the prior sentence again. Israel was not in that sentence. Megyn Kelly, 7 months in, still will not say a damn thing about Candace's targeting of Erica. And by the way, the same is true of Tucker Carlson, because this entire conspiratorial grievance party worldview, it is all one.
Now, I don't care to bring in the other content creators for this video because, as I said, I'm trying to keep politics out of it and just show this from the very point that as content creators and influencers, this has gone against everything that every drama channel has talked about. But you're not going to hear from them. Not this time.
Here's Candace Owens' own confession.
And I was a bad person. I don't know how to say it. I just was a really bad person, a person that I'm not proud of. And I didn't treat people well. I wasn't true to my word. And I was mean. And that meanness came from an anger, a deep-seated anger.
So from my perspective, what we see here is a monster created by her environment. And maybe that sounds judgmental and maybe that sounds harsh, but she has spoken about the hate that was instilled in her for white people because of her grandfather and the things that he went through, right? He taught her to kind of hold on to that pain and those scars inflicted by the white race that happened to him. She carried those burdens. It created an anger with her. And I know I could be wrong, but I truly believe that the only reason she latched on to Charlie is because she saw how big he was and she saw that she could grift that shit real easily, okay? And when it came down to it, she left and she kept grifting, right? And holding on to whatever was working. This has seemed to work the greatest for her, but it has not been of God. This is not something God would do. As I said, this is a toxic movement, an infestation. And I wish that we could go to Candace Owens and heal that little girl within her, but she has to do that herself. And I pray for her. I pray for that little girl in Candace Owens to heal the way that all children should. But the truth is, not all of us do. So you guys, I just want to know, why is it so acceptable for this woman to slander the content creator without any other drama channels speaking about it? Because it's politics? Why doesn't this matter to anyone anymore? Shouldn't we just care about people because they're people? She's a widow. I don't understand. I don't get it. Please, if you're a Candace Owens fan, explain to me, where did you lose your heart? Where'd it go, bro? There's no way you can't see the hate clouds that you're surrounded by and the anger that is clouding your judgment. So, if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I really appreciate you coming back to watch this with me. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. I really appreciate it. We made it to 112. You guys are freaking awesome. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And I will see you next time.